In this video, we will see some of the enhancements in DataFlow that improve the overall end-user experience. Let me start by creating a DataFlow. I select the sample order lines dataset as the data source. This dataset is at the grain of order lines and has several columns. The data type of all the columns are displayed in the preview data pane. You can right-click on any of these columns and do a bunch of transformations. Now, I don't want to include all these columns in my data flow, so I only choose the columns that I want, like the order line ID, customer segment, product category, profit sales, and order date. Now, as I make my selections, the preview data pane is updated with my selections. I can rename the columns from here, so let me call this order number. Now, I want to create multiple target data sets at different grains, sourcing from the sample order lines. So I will use the branch node or the branch step. I want to create 3 outputs, so I set the branch number to 3. Now, the first branch I want to create is an output aggregated at the customer segment level. So I add the aggregate node. I only want to group by customer segment, so I remove the remaining columns from this flow. Now I have sum of sales. I also want to look at average sales, so I choose the aggregation as average. I can rename this column either from the text box or by clicking on the rename option. So let me call this average sales by customer segment. Let me save this data set, call it sales by customer segment. Now in the second branch, I don't want to change the grain of the data set. I only want to transform the order date column. Instead of seeing them as dates, I want to see them as months. So I use the month function to retrieve the month from the order date. I apply. Let me call this order month. Let me save this data set and call it sales by order lines. A few things. I will first use the transform step and derive the year from the order date column by using the year function. Let me call it order year. Next, I will aggregate it at the product category and year level, so I remove the other columns. Now I have this data set which gives me sales at product category by year. I want to join it to another data set which has the sales target values for every product category across different years. So I will use the add data step and choose the sales target dataset. Let me briefly look at this dataset. So I have product category, year, and target sales value. The join step has automatically identified order year as the join column across both these datasets because of the matching name. Let me add another join for the product category column and save this dataset as sales and target by product category. We have a few options here that make the whole data flow canvas more readable, and this is particularly useful when you have large, complex data flows. Show labels option can be toggled on and off to display or hide the names of all the steps used in the data flow. You can zoom in or zoom out. You can also use the undo, redo options to revert or redo your actions. Let's save this data flow and run it. Once the data flow is executed, let's look at the DataFlow Inspector. Now we can see the sources and targets that are used in this data flow. We can also look at schedules or the history tab, which shows the details of all the runs of this data flow. So this is the run that we just executed a few seconds ago. You can also schedule a data flow to run sometime in future. You can choose the start date, time, and repeat frequency, which can be as granular as hourly. Let's now look at the output data sets that the data flow created. These are the 3 data sets that it created. Let's create a project on the sales and target data set. Let me bring in product category, year, sales, and target sales. Now this is the output of the data flow, which was aggregated and merged with another data set. Let me bring in the other output of the data flow, which is sales by customer segment. Let me look at profit and sales by various customer segments. Thanks for watching this video.